Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Okay,
Good
just to
evening.
check if I was audible. Okay, good evening. So, welcome everyone. Congratulations for clearing the IndiGo written exam. Has anyone over here had any experience with GD before? Or if you know what to expect after talking to your friends? Nothing? Okay. So, what we'll do is we'll jump right into the presentation. So, over here, we're going to give you some tips and what to expect during your IndiGo GD. After that, we'll carry out one mock GD for whoever is interested. I would request all of you to participate. And finally, we'll do some follow up questions or anything else if you have in mind to discuss, we can do that. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Indigo JFO selection, the ultimate GD strategy masterclass. I also want to remind everyone that if you have a doubt, please feel free to interrupt me at any time. Okay, let's start. So, what is the goal? Why are we doing this class? It's because we want to reach the final stage, which is a interview stage. So, as we all know, in Indigo, the GD is an elimination round. Okay. Now, on what basis are they eliminating people, or on what basis do you make a good impression? So, let's start with the reality that GD is not just about speaking, it's a 15-minute simulation of your cockpit behavior. So, they're not just seeing how you speak, they're seeing how you are in a team, how you can lead a group, how you present yourself, how you are able to express your opinions. If you carry yourself confidently, they're checking how you do your hair, how you bone your tie, everything, A to Z. Okay. So the pre-game. What do you do when you go for your GD? So when you go for your GD, what you can expect is they're going to give you a list. Okay. And just to check attendance. When they do that, check for the people, three people ahead of you and three people after you. This is most likely going to be your group. Okay. So you can identify your group members and just have a casual conversation with them. Where did you do your CPL from? If you all are rated, where did you do your rating from? Where do you live? Etc. Okay, so what this does is it's going to make you feel confident, okay, and it's going to make you feel like, okay, I'm just going in with my friends. If at any time you feel like you're nervous, you can always let your teammates know. So, what happened, or what I've seen happening actually, is sometimes someone will come up, even during my GD, this had happened, that one of the boys, he came up to us and he said, I'm really nervous and I'm not able to speak up during group discussions. So, if it's okay with everyone, I would like to introduce everyone. As in, I'd like to introduce the topic of discussion. And after that, you all can speak. And we all let him do that. And he cleared as well. Okay. So, if you get to know everyone in your team, then you can work as a team. So, this is the first insider tip that we tell everyone is to get friendly with whoever you think might be in your team and help each other out. Any questions so far? If not, you can give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Now let's talk about the first 30 seconds. Am I going too fast? It's okay. Like I said, please
So,
let me know. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let's start with the first 30 seconds. What you should do before you even sit down. Okay. I want to remind everyone that when you go to the GD center, okay, it's not necessary that everyone who is there on behalf of Indigo will be in formals or they'll be wearing an Indigo tag. Okay. Maybe the person standing next to you in your lift or the person you see in the restroom might be part of the panel. Okay. Or might be part of the Indigo team. So it's important that as soon as you get down from your cab or your vehicle, however you're coming, that you are in this GD set mindset or that you're in a presentation mindset. Okay, so make sure you smile at whoever you're sharing the lift with. If you make eye contact with someone, smile at them politely. You can greet them, good morning. So over here we mentioned also, if it's before 12 p.m., it would be good morning. If it's between 12 to 4, good afternoon, and after 4, good evening. Okay. And also make sure that you're not on the phone in the lift or in the restroom, any public space. Okay. You're not using any bad language. You're not using any street language. Present yourself very professionally because you don't know who's watching. Okay. So even small things like holding the door open for your teammates when you enter the door is being observed. Okay. So these cues, this social awareness, all these things are noted down. In fact, it's not just observed. So make sure you're on your A game. Okay. Also, walking in with a calm, smiling face is a signal of low stress and high capacity. Okay. So even if you're feeling nervous, just fake it. Okay. They don't know you're faking it. You just have to smile, make eye contact. That's it. They don't need to know that you're nervous. Okay. And don't try to avoid eye contact. In fact, initiate eye contact if possible. Okay, so far so good. Thumbs up, please, if everything's okay. Okay, okay. So now let's talk about grooming. What is the pilot standard of grooming? Okay. Uh, Now, Indigo is extremely particular when it comes to presentability. Okay. They have called out people after a GD back into the room to tell them you are not suitably dressed or your hair was not proper. You've not done the right shave. You've not put your tie properly. Even socks have been pointed out. Okay. So now, since we're going there, since we know this information, we don't want to give them any reason to point us out negatively. Okay. So some things you should keep in mind are your suit. It should be navy blue or charcoal gray. Black is also okay, but standard colors. Please don't go for green, pink, nothing like that. Okay, it has to be standard professional colors. Your shirt, preferably white, of course, and perfectly ironed. Your first button has to be put. Okay, this is also something which has been pointed out. Then let's talk about your socks. Socks, when you're sitting down and your pant rolls up, only your socks should be seen. Your skin should not be seen. Please don't wear white color socks or any pink color socks, nothing. Black, navy, or navy blue. These are your only two options. Then let's talk about shoes. Polished black Oxfords. Chelsea boots are also okay. And finally, accessories. So, professional flight bag, a laptop bag, no backpacks, please. And clean shaven look, no stubble for boys. Okay, I know some guys feel more confident when they have a bit of a stubble, but like I said, you don't want them to give them a reason to point you out. Okay. Do you guys want to take a picture of this or write it down? Let me know when you're done. So,
Excuse me, ma'am, I had a question.
yes, please.
Is clean shaved preferred or it's the compulsory look?
So it's not, nothing is compulsory. They won't tell you this is what we're expecting. But like I said, on that day only, if it's your bad luck and there's someone on the panel who doesn't like it that you have a stubble and they pointed out, what explanation will you give
Okay.
them? Right?
So,
So,
so in short, not even a bit is allowed, right?
no, clean shave is the safest option.
Sure, sure,
Okay,
understood.
so it's just a matter of 2 days. I know it's difficult for guys because you feel more confident when you have some facial hair, but it's just a matter of 2 days. It's going to be worth it when you clear. Okay, and if at any point you guys want to share what you're wearing, you can always send that picture through and we'll approve it for you. Okay, including your socks and shoes, and we'll give you advice. So that is also something we can do for you. Moving on, now let's talk about confidence and body language. So what is the mindset you should go with for your GD is that you're a captain. Okay? You're a pilot. You're not just someone on the road. You're not a student, you're a pilot. So you should walk with that confidence. You should not fidget. Okay? When you sit down, the tables are not covered, so they can see your legs, they can see your hands. Don't fidget, don't man spread, sit professionally. Okay? And hands resting naturally on your thighs. If you want to hold a pen in your hand while you're writing, that's also completely fine. What else? Yeah. So sit tall, stand tall. Please don't slouch as well. Okay. So when you go to an airport, when you look at pilots and you look at captains and you're like, okay, yeah, this guy looks like a pilot. This guy has the aura of a captain. That is the aura you should have. Okay. Please, like I said, even if you're not feeling confident, just fake it. They don't know. They won't get to know if you're faking it. Okay. And since you have some time, start building on your confidence as well. Okay. Moving on, assessing the assessors. Okay. So rule number one is ignore the panel. What they mean by this is you will be told before your GD that you have to talk within your group. Okay, don't look towards the panel for approval. If you said a very great point, don't look at them to see, if they're agreeing with you. It's not about that. It's about how you work within the group. Okay, so look at each other, maintain eye contact with your teammates, and this again, I'll repeat myself. It's just for the duration of the GD. After that, you can look at them and have eye contact. Okay, you are not there for their validation. You are there to have a group discussion. Cool. Let's move on. Okay. Now, what is the first 3 minute strategy? Timing is everything in a short GD. So sometimes your GD might just be of 15 minutes. Okay. So your first point that you speak with has to be a very strong point. Okay, sometimes I understand you may not have points, but strive for strong points. Now, how do you make sure your point is strong? Is by having good knowledge. So start reading up about day-to-day news in aviation. Start reading about crashes so that you have stronger points, so that you have facts to back you up. Okay. In the final 5 minutes of the GT, it becomes chaotic because now everyone is in survival mode. They want to get their points in. Okay. So if you have a solid grasp of the topic, you should try to open the GD. It shows leadership and initiative. If you don't, you have to make your first meaningful contribution within the first 3 minutes. Okay. That's going to make you stand out and secure your logic score early before they lose interest. Okay. So far, so good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next one is structuring your argument. Okay, now there's some particular lines that you should say or some mannerisms you should have during your GD. Okay, so one of these is if let's say Aryan has given a point and Ayush wants to speak after him. It's always good to acknowledge the person who has spoken before you. So, like there's a script mentioned here. I completely agree with Aryan's point regarding the impact of fuel prices, and I would like to add that this also affects our long range cruise. Or you can also say, I completely agree with Aryan's points. However, I also feel, and then you can disagree with his point. Okay, or have give another point of view with his point. Okay. So this shows that you're listening to what others have to say rather than just waiting for a chance to speak. Right? It's a group discussion, it's not a speech. So you should always acknowledge what someone has said. Even later on in a discussion, you can say, earlier today, earlier in our discussion, Aryan mentioned this. I would also like to point out this. So it shows that you're situationally aware about who has spoken what point. Okay. Now you all know what CRM is, crew resource management. This is something we are looking for. People who can work in a team, people who acknowledge other strengths. It's a very core competency. Okay. So if you just, all you need to say is take someone's name and bring out the point they said, and that's going to give you marks. Okay. Any doubts? Okay.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Is it like in a GD, everybody is given a chance turn by turn, or is it like anybody can speak at any point of time?
Yeah, you will not be given chances. You have to speak at any given time, and they will not interrupt you during your 15-minute GD or your 20-minute GD. Okay. So
Yes.
if during that 20-minute GD only one person speaks, they will not even point anything out in that. Okay. It's completely up to you how you involve yourself in the discussion.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. No worries. So now
Ma'am,
once this
another
presentation is
thing.
done, yes,
One more thing, ma'am. Is it okay
yes.
if you're getting involved too much in the GD, if you're like speaking too much, or is that a bad thing if they're like if you're just speaking too much and they point you out or something?
It's a bad thing if you don't let others speak. Okay, so if there's five of you and you have given 3 points, and someone else is trying to say something and you're like, yeah, but my point is this, then that's a bad thing. But if you feel like no one is saying anything, there's silent pauses, then it's completely okay to bring in whatever you have to say.
Okay, understood.
Okay. So now why is that important? So good you brought this up. It's because it shows leadership. Okay. So because you're a team player, you want everyone to speak. Now at some point of time, if you feel like person XYZ has not said anything, and you are the one to say XYZ, I'd love to know your opinion about this. It shows that you're a good leader. You've observed that this person is silent and you've tried to bring them into the discussion. Okay, so these are all small brownie points. Okay, so we'll do one practice GD where you will get to like see all these things. But yeah, you should definitely let everyone speak. If no one is speaking, it's fine to say your point.
And is there a group size generally that Indigo goes with, like 6 or 10 people, so that just
Yeah,
to
it
have
should
an
be
understand? Yeah,
right. No, sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
yeah. I'm just saying that if there are more people in a 15-minute GD, then it would be chaotic. So you kept saying 5 or 6. So is there a trend that kind of they have?
It could be 8 to 12 people.
All right,
Okay, but
understood,
if it's on the higher side, they'll also give you more time to have a discussion. So then it would be 20-minute discussions.
understood.
Okay,
Thank you,
no
thank you.
worries. Okay, now let's talk about the 30-second rule for consciousness. Okay, so what does this mean? If you have a point to give, don't ramble about it for 2 minutes. Okay, you should have within 20 to 30 seconds maximum. You should give your whole point. Okay, so you want to be direct. You don't want it's not like I said, it's not a speech, it's a discussion. So you have to say something, then someone else has to say something. So never more than 30 to 45 seconds. I personally feel 45 seconds is also too much, but it's okay. It should be one clear point with one valid reason or data point and one real world example, and end your point and invite the next person. Invite the next person is optional. Usually people will just jump in. But the structure is what I really want to talk about. So if, like I said, if you are studying about day-to-day news in aviation, if you're studying about the crashes which has happened, then you have facts to back up your point. Okay. So you could always say something like we saw in this crash, CRM is really important. Okay. So it shows that you have that you're up to date, and no one can argue with facts at the end of the day. Okay, so if you have facts to back you up, your point is very, very strong. Moving on. Okay. Now, inclusion play leadership points. How to score the highest marks in the room. So this is what I had mentioned earlier, but we'll go through it again. If you notice a teammate hasn't spoken, you can always say, we've heard some great points on the technical side. Candidate 8, what are your thoughts on the passenger experience aspect of this topic? Okay, so like I said, it demonstrates that you can manage a group, okay, and that you're a good leader. So CRM, leadership, teamwork, this one thing will cover 3 points in a go. And I'm sure like 100% of the time, there's always one person who's a bit too shy to speak up. Okay. So if you're that person to bring them into the group, it's major, major brownie point. Then next one is knowledge pillar, Indigo company IQ. You must know the 6C way. Okay, so this comes back to knowledge. So knowing Indigo's fleet, knowing its philosophy, knowing its pillars, knowing its priorities, knowing the current news, expansion, codeshare agreements, everything. This is all going to make your discussion very, very strong, and you very, very strong. So it would show that you're not just a normal person having a discussion. You're a pilot for Indigo having a discussion. Okay, this is how you stand out with as much knowledge as you have, or you can take into the discussion. Please take it in. It's just a matter of 2-3 days that you need to study really hard, and that's going to like make sure you clear it. Okay, so company knowledge, go to the website, not Wikipedia, Google, nothing, just the website only, and learn as much as you can about it. So even things like the corporate responsibility, if it's a topic about environment, then you can always say Indigo is actively working in CSR towards the environment with these projects. Okay, this is going to bring you, I mean, you're going to stand up to anything with that. Now let's talk about conflict management. So what is handling conflict and macho behavior? What to do if someone becomes aggressive? So can someone here tell me what is macho behavior? Anyone?
Trying to portray that I know everything and not letting.
Feeling that
Yes,
this can't
perfect. Good
happen
job.
to me.
Anyone else? Right, very good. Anyone else? Macho behavior is also someone who thinks that only I am right. Okay, so even if they're proved wrong, they'll still be in denial and be like, no, but this point. No, if you're wrong, accept you are wrong. So sometimes they'll give you a debate. You can always change over to the other side. You can say, initially I felt this, but listening to my team, listening to the group's points, I have now changed my mind. It shows that you're a leadership. It shows that you're a leadership. It shows that you're a leader. It shows that you're open to other people's points. Okay, so avoid macho behavior, avoid conflict. You don't want to be the type of person who will have conflict in the cockpit. You don't want to be the type of person who will have macho behavior in the cockpit. At the end of the day, this entire judgment is going towards how you will behave in the cockpit. Okay, so don't ever get into a shouting match. You can always say, I understand your perspective. However, if you look at it from a safety standpoint, the logic shift towards. You can all, if this is too, hi-fi, you can always say, I understand your point of view. However, I feel this, considering this fact. Okay. So if you maintain your volume, if you maintain your tone, it shows that you're emotionally stable. It shows that you're not being affected by what this other person is trying to say. Okay, this all comes down to again psychometry and teamwork, leadership, working in a group, etc. Okay, so use of data and real examples. So, like I mentioned, if you have a fact, your argument becomes really strong. So instead of saying, I think aviation is growing, if you say, with the UDAN scheme and the development of 100 plus airports, we are seeing a 15% growth in domestic traffic, year-on-year growth in domestic traffic. If you say the second point, who is going to argue with you? But if you say, I think aviation is growing, the second person might just say, why do you think so? What does your opinion, how does your opinion matter on this? If you have facts, then your argument is very strong. Okay. So insider tip, mentioning DGCA cars, ICA annexures, even like I mentioned, Indigo policies shows you're a student of the industry. Any questions so far? Thumbs up if everything's okay. Okay, great. So now what are they looking for? It may happen that you don't have as much technical knowledge. Okay, you might not be a rated pilot, so all you have is your CPL experience. But that's not what they're looking for. That's what the interview round is for. Okay. So although if you have knowledge, you're going to do better. But even if you have lesser knowledge, it's more about how do you react when you're interrupted? How do you bring in people who are not speaking during the discussion? Do you have a macho attitude? Are you kind? Are you aware of the time? Are you able to remember what points other people gave and add on to them? It's about how you work in a group. Okay. So if you feel like, okay, maybe technically I'm not so strong, you can get your points by being a good team player and a good leader. Okay. Next point. Okay. So now what all bases are you, what all things are you judged on? So first one, like I mentioned, presentability, your grooming, your suit, your socks, if you're clean shaven or not. For girls, I would say please avoid open hair. Try to, if it's not too short, like if you can tie it up, then tie it up, like bun or ponytail. Your confidence, your teamwork, your knowledge, and your etiquette. These are the five major things which you will be judged on. So again, if you want to take a picture of this, please go ahead and let me know when you're done. Okay. Okay. Now, psychometric alignment. Your GD behavior must match with your written test. So you all know you have an adapt with a psychometric evaluation, right? Okay, I'm assuming that's a yes. Guys, if you don't speak now, how will you speak in the GD? All you have to say is yes or
Yes,
no.
ma'am.
But anyway,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. Okay. So you have a psychometric exam, and after which you'll have your GD. Okay. So your psychometric reports have been printed and they are with the panel when you are doing your GD. Okay. So if during the psychometric assessment you say, I'm a great team player. Okay, I always listen to what other people have to say. And during your GD, you are like, no, everyone is wrong, only I am right. Then that's a red flag for them. Then they know you've lied on your psychometric assessment. Okay. So all you have to do is be true to your professional pilot profile, even during your psychometric assessment and even during your GD. So if at any time you have a doubt, just think what would a pilot do? Or if I was hiring a pilot for my airline, what would they do in this situation? Okay. If so, there's one more example here. If the written test says you are rule abiding, but in the GD you suggest bending the rules for profit, then you are being flagged for inconsistency. So just be careful of this. Like I said, the safest way is to approach both your psychometric evaluation and your GD as a pilot. Just a second. Okay. Now, how do you leave the room? Now your discussion is over. Now you want to leave the room. So how do you leave? Uh, like I mentioned, you don't know who's next to you in the lift, in the loo, in the lobbies, nothing. So your GD will only end when you're outside the building. I would even say it leaves when you entered your vehicle to leave. Okay. So now let's talk about point 2 and 3. Thank the group, not the assessors. And third point is hold the door, smile, leave quietly, etc. Like right after you leave the room, don't start a discussion with your group. Oh, this happened, that happened. No, wait, leave the building and then have that discussion. It's okay. And I want to know, just a second, we'll talk about this point number 1 in a bit. We'll finish this and then I'll tell you guys. Okay, now what does Airship Aviation offer? So it bridges the gap to the 6E cockpit. So we have mock GD sessions. There's no limit on how many GD sessions we'll have. It's not like we'll just give you 3 or 4. We're going to keep doing them until you have your GD. We have a psychometric handbook, and we also have a psychometric test on our website, which you can do, and it's going to give you evaluation about what airlines look for, so how you can adjust your answers accordingly. Mastering the why IndiGo and technical questions. So this is for your personal interview. In the personal interview, we conduct everything from an HR round, uh, personal interview, as in about you, your experience, your family, etc. Follow-up questions, IndiGo questions, everything about IndiGo, and technical questions. And everything is online and recorded, so you can study at your own pace at any time. You can watch the videos. We have tons and tons of videos for GD and interviews, so at any time you can refer to those as well. Let's move on. And this is the website and the number if you want to enroll. I'm sure you guys have already spoken to someone from the company, so you must be having this number. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next batch for sure. But today we'll do one mock GD. Before we start that GD, I just want to know what you guys know about how a GD goes on.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. This is little off the topic, but can you give few examples of the topic of the GDs that will be of or
Yeah,
that
yeah.
has been in the past?
Okay, for
Is
sure,
it
for sure.
like is it mostly related to crashes or the recent developments in aviation? Is it about the world aviation, Indian aviation? Like some examples will help.
Okay, so there's some major things they cover. One is crashes, okay, mostly A320 related or CRM related crashes, okay. Then there's debates, there's activities. Activities would be like your plane has crashed, you have 10 items with you, rank them in order of importance, okay? Or a survival activity, or a ship has sunk, there's only one life raft, and nine of you have to go on that raft. Who are those nine people? Something like that. And finally would be group discussion. So these are we'll do a group discussion now, so you'll get to know an example for that. But majorly these four things are covered. Okay.
Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Okay. So now let me tell you about how a GD goes on or what is expected. So there's four major players in a GD. Okay. The first person is the person who does the introduction. The second person is someone who keeps a time check. The third person is someone who does a conclusion. Sorry, not four, three main people. Introduction, time check, and conclusion. Okay. What do you mean by introduction is not to say, hi, I'm blah, 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 blah. It's to say, ki, good morning, everyone. Today we've been given this topic. I'd like to open the floor for discussion. Before we begin, would anyone like to volunteer for a time check? Okay. This is your introduction. A time check is someone who will remind the group about how much time we have. Okay. So at any point, you should say, again, so if you are someone who is really shy, doing the introduction, the time check, and the conclusion is a way to bring yourself into the group or into the discussion. So the time check person has to say things like, sorry to interrupt the discussion. We are done with 10 minutes and we have 5 minutes to go. Or we are done with 7 minutes, we have 8 minutes to go, whatever. Okay. And finally is the conclusion. The conclusion is done by presenting all the points the group has agreed to. So if there's a point someone has brought forward, but no one has agreed to it, or a minority has agreed to it, you would not bring this point. Okay. So for example, the topic is 5 qualities of a pilot. You, my guys, may have discussed 20, but the top 5, which everyone has agreed to, have to be discussed in the conclusion. Okay. The conclusion will only be given by one person. In case that person forgets to bring a point, then you can say, adding to uh, XYZ's conclusion, we also discussed this point. Okay, so don't blindly follow someone's time check or someone's conclusion. You should be aware about that as well. Sometimes it happens that someone will say we have 5 minutes to go when you actually have 7 minutes to go. So you should also be situationally aware about how much time you have. Conclusion should happen in the last 5 minutes, not before that. Okay. So majorly this is how a GD goes on. I would like to conduct a mock GD right now, but there's 76 people. So I'll just give you guys a topic. Whoever is interested, please keep your cameras on because we will tell you about body language as well. And since it's just a mock GD, I'm not going to force you to do it, but if you can, it's for your benefit only. So is everyone ready for a GD or do you have any other questions? No questions?
Ma'am, I have a
Okay.
few doubts.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, will the GD be a mix of CPL candidates and 320 rated, or will it be, they would have segregated between these two?
Generally, it's segregated.
Okay, so when a particular GD batch, it will be only 320 rated or only CPL.
Yeah. So majorly, I have seen this only, but don't expect that it will not happen. It might happen that they mix a group also.
Okay. And also, you told us in the first slide that it is better to know who is with you on the merit list if you check the merit
Yes,
list. But how
yes.
will I get to know who
So
is?
the day, yeah. So when you reach your center, you'll all be given a room to sit in, and they'll come in with a paper to take your attendance. Okay. So the 3 people before you and the 3 people after you are likely to be in your group.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So suppose the first group goes in, there's 8 people. So then you check the second 8 people. That's going to be your group or the third or whatever. You can, it's going in groups of 8.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you, ma'am.
No worries.
Even
Any
I
other
have a
questions?
question. Sorry to interrupt
Okay.
you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, ma'am, will the GD will be one group versus the other, or it will be just one group debating or discussing among each other?
Only one group.
Okay, okay. So, ma'am, how do they select? Like, what if all performs good? And how will they select the students from one group?
Within one GD, you mean within one discussion?
Yeah, yeah.
It's judged on the points you make, how you present those points, your leadership, your teamwork, how you've done your grooming, how conscious, how situationally aware you are. So I gave those 5 points. Wait 1 second, I'll show you again. Yeah, these are the major points. So you'll be scored on these points, and the highest scorers will go to the next round.
Okay, ma'am, got it. Thank you.
No worries. Anyone else?
So basically, ma'am, even everyone can be selected from a group. It's not like some people
Yes.
have to be like chucked out.
No, no, not at all.
Okay, understood.
So you won't get your result right away. They'll do all the GDs of the day, and end of the day they'll have a discussion who performed the best amongst all the GDs or the least best amongst all the GDs, and according to that the selection is done. It's not within your group as well. Okay.
Religious means I cannot cut my beard. Should I tie
Sorry, I
my
can't hear
beard
you.
at that
Sorry, I
time?
can't hear.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Ma'am, I was saying due to religion reasons I cannot cut my beard.
Hmm.
So, should I tie my beard on that day, or is it like should I keep it as like I should I just only groom it nicely, or should I tie it as well?
No, no. If it's a religious reason, it's completely valid. Then you just groom it properly. And if they won't ask you also, if it's religious reasons, they won't ask.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So what I'll do, guys, is I'll give you the topic and I'll give you 5 minutes to prepare for the topic. In that 5 minutes, if you guys have any doubts, please let me know, and we'll solve that. Otherwise, we'll discuss it after the GD. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you might need a pen and paper to write it down. This is a topic which has been asked, as in which has been discussed several times. Okay. So just a second. Yeah. The topic is the first officer uploaded a reel on Instagram which went viral. In it, he wasn't properly groomed. Passengers are concerned for flight safety. The captain was in the restroom. DGCA wants to take action. Consider yourself the airline. What will you do going ahead? Can someone repeat it for me, please?
Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
The first officer uploaded a reel on Instagram which went viral. In it, he wasn't properly groomed. Passengers are concerned for the flight safety. The captain is in the restroom, and DGCA want to take action. Considering yourself as the airline, what will you do going ahead?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. So I hope it was clear with everyone. In case it's not, I'll just let you know that a first officer clicked a picture, while the captain was in the restroom. Okay, he wasn't properly groomed at all, and this is during flying hours. Okay, so now passengers are concerned for flight safety. DGCA wants to take action. You have to consider that you are the airline and you are deciding what to do with him, what to do with the company, what punishment you will give to him, and going ahead, how will you avoid the situation, everything. Okay. There should be someone to give an introduction, someone to give a time check, someone to give a conclusion. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to prepare. So it's 8:40. At 8:45, the discussion should start. I'm not going to remind anyone that it's 8:45, please start. It is your situational awareness and your time awareness that you will start on time. So 8:45, the discussion starts. We can finish it at 9 on the dot. Try not to extend the time. Okay. What else? Yeah, this is about it. And we'll not finish it at 9. There's so many people, so I'm going to give 20 minutes. So at 9:05, we can finish the discussion. It's okay if you don't speak in this particular discussion because there's so many people. Next time we'll make it in groups of 20 or 15 actually and move on. It's just to understand how a group discussion goes on. Okay. So I'll mute my camera now, my mic now. At 8:45, cameras on, and please start your discussion. If you have any doubt, you can stop me.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Ma'am, there is no one in the cockpit except first officer, like no lead cabin crew.
No one is in the cockpit. Or we can say the crew was in the cockpit. Yeah, that's good awareness. The crew must be in the cockpit. Okay.
Hello. Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
All right. I would like to begin this discussion. Firstly, good evening to everyone. I believe pilots symbolize professionalism. And if an act, as mentioned, has been committed, then the first question is how did the first officer step into the cockpit in the first place? Why was he not reprimanded or questioned at the very first sight?
Correct. I totally agree with you because this can be a serious threat to an airline because this kind of shows a very bad impression on the passenger. And for something like this, some strict action should be taken against any person who is against the pilots who are actually doing it. And what I believe is something should be done. For example, a webinar or some online sessions should be made compulsory for the pilots to attend, so as to and in that session, in it should be made mandatory for the pilots to attend that, and how this can cause a safety issue, and all that should be mentioned in, during that webinar is what I feel.
I agree with Ria, and I also feel there should be a strict adherence to SOPs, and there should be some sort of retraining which clearly mentions the standard that a pilot needs to follow, as Sanchit had mentioned as well earlier. What could be done as well is more awareness could be passed throughout the airline, and we could also work with the DGCA, the airline itself, to start a campaign for pilots to not use cell phone devices or mismanage cell phone devices while in the cockpit. As we recently saw, there was a video that went viral of a lead cabin crew sitting on a captain's seat, and that is something that is not professional.
I really support Ansh and Ria's point. First of all, grooming for pilots uh, is a really initial and a really basic thing. And considering pilots and cabin crews are the face of the airline, and such a thing being going viral on Instagram is not acceptable at all, and it really damages the airline's trust. So I think an DGC action upon this would be hampering the airline at a really huge cost. So some things like canceling the routes, or putting up fines on the airline, and especially an airline like Indigo, which is so hell-bent on, so disciplined on putting up good posture, good uniform, and good composure. An airline like Indigo would really put strict actions on such a pilot. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Karanveer, but I think um, most of us cannot hear you clearly.
You're not properly audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Okay, as I was saying that I agree with all of you, and DGCA should take proper actions on the first officer who made that reel. Concerning the safety of the aircraft, I feel that every pilot should have a limited access to the social media, not just inside the premises of the working area, but also inside the cockpit and everything. Like, no pictures or videos should be taken, as it affects the safety of the aircraft and the passengers. And as I feel that the airline and the DGCA should together take actions on the pilots uh, who records videos and photos in the cockpit. And yeah, some concerns about the captain not being in the cockpit at that point raise questions on the SOPs, that why was the crew which was inside the cockpit did not stop the first officer from making that reels in the cockpit, as it is not allowed actually in India to make videos and photos.
That's a really good point, Karanveer. But on the other hand, I feel like for students, for upcoming pilots, content creators and social media influencers play a huge role on depicting how the actual life is. So first of all, we need to understand what the motto of the first officer behind behind posting that reel was, and based on that, we can confirm what kind of a penalty or what kind of a corrective action we have to take against him. Because according to rule number 13 of Aircraft Rules 1937, recording in the aircraft while on flying duty during any period, any phase of the flight, be it cruise, takeoff, or landing, it is not allowed. But under after taking permission from the DGCA and after taking permission from the operator, the pilot is allowed under certain circumstances. So we should look into that before deciding upon any corrective measure.
I totally agree with Yash, but what concerns here me the most is that the captain was in the restroom, and it was there was no one monitoring the systems, and the first officer was busy capturing pictures and posting it online. So that was something which raises concern. Yes, if like talking about if it would have been the case that the captain was there in the cockpit, then what I believe is it wouldn't have been that much of an issue. The but
Sorry to interrupt with the discussion. We have 7 minutes remaining, and I also believe there should be a thorough and proper investigation that should lead with this. So the cockpit voice recorder should be checked, and a proper investigation should be done before we take any other actionary steps.
I would like to weigh in. Firstly, we still have about 11 minutes. So, and secondly, when it comes to the captain being in there and why wasn't the captain inside the cockpit? I mean, when the nature calls, you have to answer. And secondly, I know social media influencers, they play a big role these days, but there are norms in place, there are rules, and if anything compromises the safety of the aircraft and the image of the airlines, then I believe that comes into question directly. And as far as the action is concerned, I believe not a strict action, but firm warning is in place.
what I believe
Really
is
good point.
yeah, you made a really good point. What I believe is that other pilots should be warned about it, and they should be made more aware about the consequences of it, so that particular act is not being repeated anytime in future. So, as an airline, one should ensure, like, an airline should ensure that it shouldn't happen regularly, or in like that this practice by the pilots should be avoided. So something should be done by an airline, for example, making its pilots more aware about the consequences of it, how it can affect the safety of the passengers, and what negative impression it can create on the passengers. So, as an airline, that like this thing should be practiced to avoid it in future.
Totally agreed. Yeah, it was a really good point. And I feel like the pilots' body and the pilots' associations are a good platform for spreading such kind of good information. And the airline should also educate the captains, even if for example, in this situation, the captain was not informed about wasn't aware about such kind of a thing happening, so he might not be under control of the situation. But and other captains, since they are the commander of the airplane, and such a thing cannot happen under their supervision, so this should be brought ahead in front of all the captains, so that such a nuisance doesn't happen again.
Hi guys, sorry to interrupt. Since just five of you are participating, feel free to end the discussion at any time. I won't put a cap on it, or you don't have to stretch it till 9:05. It's up to you guys. Okay, continue.
Keeping safety factor and airlines reputation in mind, I think a disciplinary action and explanation should be asked from the first officer, like why this kind of indiscipline shown in the cockpit and irresponsible behavior is done in the cockpit, and this really like uh, impairs the airline's reputation.
Yeah, as discussed by everybody, put forward very good information and good points. I would like to conclude this discussion by saying that in aviation, safety is first, but as an airline, passenger confidence is also very important, because that's what at the end of the day the business is, and both are equally important. And even if the flight operations was technically safe, and public perception must be handled carefully, because since passengers felt uh, uh, I mean, they didn't feel confident about this whatever the pilot did in the cockpit. So the airline should investigate fairly, and reassure passengers, and reinforce professional rules and standards, so that it doesn't happen again.
Thank you, Harsh, for your conclusion. I would also like to add one point as an airline, what we can do is first we should inform the public that we have launched the investigations to inform people that yeah, we are taking strict action about it, so that that will also help airline to tell people that we are taking some action about it. Secondly, we will add some panel to investigate the situation, that how this thing happened, what was the cause. Third, we can also think about as an airline that we can add this thing in our CRM training, where we can tell other pilots also that this was the case that had happened. Example, it was a flight from United Flights 1517 that was operating from Francisco to Honolulu, in which one engine failed at the high cruising altitude, where only in that situation the captain was also in the restroom, but luckily the luck was their side. Before this incident happened, captain just 5 minutes before came into the cockpit. So this plays an important role. We can also put into a CRM training. And yeah, all guys, your point was very good. We can also use that points in our uh, training for peoples. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone has anything to add or discussion is over? Say something, guys. Is the discussion over?
Yes, I believe we can wrap it up now.
Okay, okay. So normally what would happen is after a discussion, they ask you follow-up questions. Since today was your first time, I'm not going to do that. We'll do all that next time. Today, I'll just give you feedback for today, okay? So, 1 second. Sanchit, do you think you can mute yourself because my voice is echoing, I think. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So I would like to start by saying I'm so happy you guys spoke and you all did really well for your first time and you had very, very valid points. Out of 57 people, I think about 7 of you spoke, so it takes guts to do that, and I'm very proud of you guys for doing it. Let's jump into what happened. So, Sanchit, wait, yeah, before that, 8:45, you put your camera on everybody, but no one said anything. So 8:45 is when the discussion should start. Don't wait for others. You're a leader, right? So you should start the discussion. So Sanchit made that effort. Good job. However, I'd like to remind you that you have to introduce the topic. Okay, so how it would go is, good evening, everyone. The topic given to us is this. I would like to volunteer. I would like to ask someone to volunteer for a time check. And then you can say, well, someone would say, I volunteer, you thank them. And then you say, I would like to open the floor for discussion. Okay. Besides that, you had really good situational awareness about time and also about what other people were saying. And if Sanchit has forgotten to ask for who would like to volunteer for a time check, then others should volunteer on their own and say, before we move on with the discussion, I would like to volunteer for the time check, or I would like to ask if anyone would like to volunteer for a time check. Okay? Then, Ria, good points. Something I felt like all of you did was you had a lot of fillers. So you kept saying okay, so these things it's better to avoid. And that's something that will happen with practice, so don't worry about it. Just be conscious of it. Okay? Uh, Andrea, you had a very good point was the FO was alone, yet he was taking pictures when he should have been monitoring the aircraft. So that was a very good point that you brought out. Good awareness. Ansh, very good job mentioning facts. You took an initiative for the time check. That's also good, even though you gave the wrong time check, but it's still okay. You brought everyone's attention to the time, so good job. And your uh, tone of speaking and the way you speak is also very good. Good job. Then Yash, at some point you said, I support this one's point. It's better to say, I agree with this one's point. Okay? Otherwise, you also were doing very, very well. You bought in the rule about DGCA, so that's great. Probably you had time to search it up now, that's why you knew it. If you don't have time to search it up also, obviously you will not be able to search up anything before your actual GT. At that time, you can say, as we all know, DGCA has rules regarding posting pictures in the aircraft. Okay, so you don't have to refer to the exact one, but if you know it's there, you can refer to it as well. Okay, and you also mentioned Indigo. So at no point had I told you that this is an Indigo employee who had done this. Okay, so please don't assume. This applies for everyone. Sometimes we tend to assume, and that's going to be your downfall. So don't assume it was Indigo or it was any airline. Don't mention any airline as far as possible. Okay, otherwise you did a good job. Okay. Then Karanveer, you had good points. You covered a lot in one go though, okay? So try to break it up. Don't try to speak for more than 45 seconds in a go because it's a group discussion, it's not a speech. So you give one point, then you others discuss it, then you bring in your second point and others discuss it. Don't try to give all your points in one go. And who else spoke? I think Sakshi also spoke. Yeah, you spoke just once, but you did a good job. Uh, Harish with the conclusion. So Harish and again everyone, always take consent before concluding. Okay, you have to ask everyone if it's okay with everyone. Shall I do the conclusion? Because what if someone has more points to add? Okay, so always take consent before conclusion, and you have to cover what was discussed by everyone. You can't just conclude the situation. You have to conclude the points that were discussed. That is the point of the conclusion. So again, it's your responsibility to take down notes of who is saying what and what is being agreed to by everyone, and then conclude it accordingly. Then we had Aryan. Aryan, very good flow and plan, but you can only speak for so long in a go if you're doing a conclusion. Otherwise, you have to break it up. But I liked how you planned out that initially we'll start with this, then we'll move on to this, etc. Okay. Again, you referred to a crash, which I'm happy about, but if you're referring to something, it has to be relevant as well. So I think the relevance was lacking slightly. If you could explain it, or they might even ask you to explain how it was relevant. If you can do that, well and good. But otherwise, it was a good idea to refer to a crash. Okay. Then finally, your ending can't be abrupt. You have to thank. You have to thank. With that conclusion, I would like to thank you all for your participation, and let's end the discussion for today. Something like that. There has to be an ending so that the panel knows you've ended. So even today, I was asking you, have you finished? Are you sure you finished? You guys just put your cameras off. That's not good enough. You have to look professional. It's not four friends having a discussion or four random people. It's four pilots having a discussion. Keep that in mind. Okay. Now that all this is there, anyone has any doubts, or now that the discussion's over, you realize that this is something that you could have said, or anything, any doubt you had about whether you should have bought this point or not. Anything?
No, I just have one thing in group discussion. So
Yes, yes,
multiple people will be putting forward their opinions or thoughts or ideas.
yes.
So will we have time to note down all those? Are we allowed to take a pen and paper with us for the group discussion?
Yes, they'll give you a pen and paper.
All right, thank you.
Okay. They will give you a pen and paper, but please carry your own pen also, okay? In case their pen is not working or that day they decide not to give you a pen. You have to have your own pen. Cool?
Ma'am, one more doubt. Are we allowed to put up the question that was put up by the panel? I thought that during the discussion shifted from the opinion because the question was like, as you are an airline, what steps should we
Right,
take? But I
right.
think the discussed shifted by the opinion, what people say. So that's why I
Exactly.
put up the thing that as an airline, what we will do.
Yeah.
So can we mention the question in between? Are we
Yes.
allowed to do that?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm very good. You realize this. I wrote it down also, but I thought it would be too heavy for you guys. So please do, if the group is shifting from the topic and you bring it back in again, that is leadership. That's situational awareness. So you mentioned it also that as an airline, blah 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 blah. Good. So you brought it to everyone's attention that we are speaking as an airline. At some point, you're right. The discussion went towards just four people speaking about a situation, about what could be done, and not as a airline. So yes, definitely, if it's going off the topic, you can bring it back. You can bring it back saying, uh, uh, what can you say? Yeah, you can say, I would like to remind everyone that the topic given to us is whatever this is. So speaking as an airline, we can do this, something like that. Very gently steer the conversation back. Okay.
All right, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's talk about what could have been done better flow-wise. So what you can normally do is you introduce the topic, you ask someone to volunteer for a time check, someone does the volunteering, you thank them. Okay. Then you can talk about why it was wrong in this particular situation. You can talk about why the FO doing this was wrong, how it has affected the company. Now, once that is established, then you can talk about what punishment you will be giving to the FO. Once that is established, you can talk about how you can overcome the situation in the future. Okay. So some points I thought about is you can say, we all know that social media is a big part of our lives now. Instead of avoiding it, it's better we accept it and we launch a social media module which our employees can study. Okay, about what is acceptable and unacceptable in the cockpit. We can carry out classes for the employees regarding social media use. We can carry out classes for grooming, We can do random grooming checks. We can do, so someone had mentioned about the crew also. Why wasn't the crew, why didn't the crew say anything? So she also has to be assertive, or he also has to be assertive. So classes for the crew to be assertive, or promoting assertiveness in the cockpit. Then what is the punishment going to be for such situations? So you could say it could have been grounding, it could have been a monetary fine, anything, suspension, 2 months suspension, whatever you want to say, that's fine. And then finally, you could have said, we'll issue an apology to all our passengers, something like that. Okay. So I was expecting the discussion to go more in terms of what you do as an airline, but it's still okay. You did very good for your first time. And I hope, sometimes I speak too fast because I'm trying to cover everything, but I hope it was clear enough for everyone's understanding. If you want me to repeat anything, please let me know.
Ma'am,
Good, everyone got understood. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Ma'am, as you mentioned this thing, so we can't say this thing for whole time. As you mentioned that we have to speak about 30 seconds, but if we go
Yes.
to explain this all thing, then how should we continue more than 30 seconds, or we should wait for next turn so we can add that thing?
No. Just explain one point in one go and explain it within 30 to 45 seconds maximum. The only time where you're allowed to exceed this 45 seconds, or when you should exceed it, would be your introduction and your conclusion.
Oh, okay, ma'am. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am,
So, yes.
ma'am, which kind of aircraft investigation we have to watch to enhance our communication? There is any
So,
platform or yes?
no, there's a lot of videos on YouTube about aircraft investigations. Those are a bit long, but what you can do is you can Google crashes which happened due to CRM error or something like that. Yeah, crashes which happened due to CRM error. Whatever that list comes, read up about them.
Okay, sure.
Aditya, I can also recommend you. You can. There's a YouTube channel called Mentor Pilot. So it's a great YouTube channel where you can watch things, and he will explain you why this thing happened and what could have been there. So the channel name is Mentor Pilot. So I think it will help all of us if we have to know what happened in previous incidents and like that.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so much,
Arya.
Aryan. So nice of you. One more thing. So, guys, you might read a random, maybe someone's written a blog about a crash and shared their opinions. So, just remember, you can't refer to that blog as your fact. Okay, your fact have to be facts. So, make sure whatever you're saying has actually happened. It's not just something someone has written or someone's opinion about that situation. Okay?
Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? But the seven of you who spoke did a really good job, especially the ones who had their cameras on. Like for the first time, it was really, really good. Good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So, any questions?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No? Okay, okay. So then we can end it. Have to let you guys know that there's one more session happening tomorrow at 5 p.m., which is going to be again insider information, but it's going to be about all the rounds. So your adapt round, your GD, your interview, everything. It's at 5 p.m. tomorrow. You can refer to, if you have Garima's number, her number, or whoever your contact person is, you can refer to them and they'll send you the link for it. Do you guys have that number or should I share it?
If you share, that would be great, ma'am.
Okay, just a second. It's 1 second. 1 second, okay. Any other questions, guys? Anything that you would like to discuss? Any topic you have in mind for the next GD? No? Okay. The number is, please write it down, 93101 23312. 93101 23312. Okay? Thumbs up if everyone's heard it at least. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so I think we can end it for the day. I've taken more than an hour already. If you have any questions, you can send it also on this number and she'll forward it to me and I'll answer it immediately or whenever I get the time. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the GD session and all the best. Do well.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys. Good
ma'am.
night. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.